Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G133. I'm back here with another video on the channel for y'all today. And today I'm gonna be starting the first part of a 4 or 5 part mini series where we're gonna be discussing, analyzing, evaluating characters from the Moro arc. With the fantastic finale of Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter 66, the Moro arc is about to come to an end. We just have to wrap things up in chapter 67. But I want to get a start on this series because after chapter 66, it's pretty clear that Moro is gone. I know there's some people that believe he might have survived that explosion, but I think there's a 90% chance he is gone. And if he did survive somehow, there's not much of him left. There's not like he can do anything. He's not a threat to Goku and Vegeta anymore. But I believe Moro's gone, and that's how we're going to go into this video. But the characters we're going to be discussing in this mini-series, we're going to be starting today with Moro. I'm going to be doing videos on Goku, Vegeta, and Merus. I may do a 5th part on just the side characters of the Moro arc if you guys want that. So make sure you guys hit the like button and let me know in the comment section if you guys want to see that. But for right now, we're going to be focusing on those 4 characters since those were the 4 main characters of this arc. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. So Moro represents the 7th arc in Dragon Ball Super, right? Now that the Moro arc is coming to an end, we're going to be starting a new one. And it's kind of crazy to think about that. You know, we've already had 7 arcs in DBS. And throughout those 7 arcs so far, we've only had 2 original villains. Most of the people Goku and Vegeta fought are basically antagonists, but they're good people. They weren't, you know, they didn't have evil mindsets. The only 2 that did have evil mindsets, well, Frieza was a villain, but he wasn't an original villain. He was a villain that they just brought back from DBZ, who's come back time and time again in Dragon Ball Super. We had Goku Black and Zamasu, right? Goku Black and Zamasu, they're basically the same person, so they count as 1 original villain. And Moro, whose arc just ended, he was the 2nd original villain. What made Moro unique at the start, right? First off, his design. He had a really, unique design for Dragon Ball. He was an old man, wrinkles. He had a goat-like appearance, something that we hadn't seen before, in Dragon Ball. And, a lot of people really like that about him. Plus, his power. If you look at the enemies Goku and Vegeta face, they faced Goku Black and Zamasu, who Zamasu was all about immortality, right? They face Jiren and Broly, guys that are just, super strong. Broly straight comes from, his rage and his emotions. They face a god of destruction in Merus. They face a striker like Hit, with assassin skills who doesn't even really use Ki Blast, right? So Moro represented somebody unique. He was a guy with magic powers. It's not the first time we've seen magic in Dragon Ball, of course, right? The one that comes to our minds is Babidi. But Babidi wasn't strong at all. Majin Buu was the strong guy out of that duel. But here we have a strong opponent for Goku and Vegeta who has magic powers. And we see it catches Goku and Vegeta off guard at the beginning of this arc. Even though Vegeta was stronger than Moro using Super Saiyan Blue evolution, right? Moro using his magic powers was able to keep Goku and Vegeta off balance. Little did they know that, as that battle went on New Namek, Moro revealed that he had the ability to absorb energy from resources and people, however he liked. So he was able to drain Goku and Vegeta, and that's why they got defeated by him at the beginning of the arc. And, we see Moro's appearance change a lot throughout the arc. It changes over and over and over again. Mainly, when he steals Goku and Vegeta's power and almost kills them on New Namek, right? We see it makes him a lot younger because the reason why Moro's been alive so far is, he's millions of years old, and before he got caught by the Galactic Patrol, he was taking energy from all these planets, and all that energy that he stole was what was keeping him alive. So he aged throughout all that time in the Galactic prison. And then now that he's stealing energy from Goku and Vegeta, who are ridiculously strong, they're on the level of gods, right? It's able to revert the aging effects on him, and we see Moro become a lot younger. And as the arc goes on, he becomes younger and younger. You see the wrinkles go away. His beard becomes smaller and smaller, all the way to the point where, peak Moro, right before he reaches his final form at the peak of the arc, peak Moro, it's just a very young, big guy, clean shaven, and he's just a complete beast. So we find out Moro collects the Dragon Balls on New Namek, and he wishes for his full magic abilities back, right, which were taken from the Daikaio Shen. And he also wishes for everyone that he spent all that time in the Galactic Prison to be released, because he wants to form some sort of army to make things easier for himself. So I really like what they did with Moro at the beginning of this arc. They established him as a huge threat. He had, unique powers, which made him a unique villain. And one thing also was his IQ. He was really smart, even though he knew that Vegeta and Goku were stronger than him at the beginning of this arc. He knew he had the upper hand because of his magic techniques, right? And we'll discuss how I feel about how Moro progresses later in the arc in just a little bit. So as we get to the middle part of this arc, right, Moro has his army, and we see Goku and Vegeta, they go their separate ways to train. Goku goes to train with Merus, Vegeta goes to Planet Yardrat. During this time, Moro's on the other side of the galaxy, right, where the Galactic Patrol can't track him because he's in a ship that's so fast that the Galactic Patrol can't really track his movements. So during this time, he's working with Sir Gambo and the rest of these Galactic Prison convicts, and they're going to planet to planet stealing energy, right? Sir Gambo and his gang, they steal treasure, and Moro gets to suck the energy out the planet, and it's how he gets stronger and stronger, right? We later find out late in the arc that Moro doesn't believe in trading, and that's a common theme because Goku and Vegeta, they train to get every ounce of power they have. Moro believes that a guy like him, he believes he is a god. He believes that he gets to decide who lives and who dies, because his wish is to be able to consume planets as he likes. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't care if you live or die. All he cares about is himself. So his way of training, is by stealing energy and adding that to his own supply. That's how he survived all these years. So we see Moro gets stronger and stronger, just like Goku and Vegeta are getting stronger and stronger as they're training. So everything comes to a head when we get the final battle on Earth, right? At this point, I was still really enjoying Moro's character because he was a badass with that magic ability, and the guy was smart. He has that IQ, which, a lot of villains in anime just don't have. But, Toritaro wrote Moro to be very, very smart, and, I gotta give him credit for that. So, as we get the final battle on Earth, we see the Z Fighters assemble, and Moro doesn't even get involved. He leaves his henchmen to deal with, the others. Even when Gohan and Piccolo are fighting Sir Gambo, Moro doesn't get involved. He's just standing there because he's so confident that there's nobody there to oppose him. The only people he wants to face is Goku and Vegeta, because he knows this is their home planet, and they should know that he's on the planet. They should be able to sense him, right? So he's just gonna sit there and wait for them to arrive. So then Goku arrives first on the planet, and then we see Moro being very smart. He baits Goku into using Ultra Instinct, right? He keeps giving energy to Sir Gambo because he knows that if he keeps giving energy to Sir Gambo's gonna get stronger, and Goku doesn't want Sir Gambo to die, even though he knows he's an enemy, and that's the only way, Goku will go Ultra Instinct. Eventually, Sir Gambo dies because he can't handle the power of Moro, and Moro reveals that he doesn't care about Sir Gambo. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. He just used those guys for his own means. So once again, they're just making Moro out to be a super bad guy who doesn't care about anything. So then we get Ultra Instinct Omen versus Moro, and it's a great battle. It goes on for 2 chapters, but once again, they make Moro really smart, even though Ultra Instinct Omen is stronger than Moro, right? And the main thing is because Goku's his speed in Ultra Instinct is too fast for Moro to absorb. But the thing about it is Goku has the stamina issue, and Moro is able to figure that out on his own, right? Because of that IQ he has, and he's able to take advantage, and he's able to defeat Ultra Instinct Gohan and Goku 3 times in the arc. So I really did enjoy that. So then we have Vegeta come out, and this is where I start, disliking Moro, right? About chapter 61. Vegeta, you get the reveal of spirit separation, and he's able to take down Moro pretty easily because now Moro's losing all that energy that he absorbed from all those planets. And we see Moro, he goes back into his gold form, and it looks like Vegeta's about to get the win. But right at that moment, Moro's able to distract Vegeta to the point where Moro's able to legit consume 7-3, and that's when we get Moro in his, what we thought would be his final form, but we get Moro with 7-3 absorbed, right? And like I said, I started disliking Moro here because this is when the similarities to the Cell arc come into play. Even though, like I said, I really did enjoy this arc, and this is probably the best arc of Dragon Ball Super so far. But there's just so many similarities to Cell. Just his appearance alone is just like, I really enjoyed Moro in that goat-like, state, and now he reminds me too much of Cell, just by appearance alone. And then here we start to see Moro get away to what made him unique in the first place. After he absorbs 7-3, he relies a lot on, copied abilities, right? Because, that's the big thing he gets from consuming 7-3 is his copy ability. And, he steals Vegeta's abilities, and he only uses one attack, right? He only uses the Big Bang attack. He also does Piccolo's Special Beam Cannon on him, which almost kills Piccolo, right? And even though chapter 62 makes Moro look like a badass, it's just, he's not using his magic powers anymore. He's more just relying on stone techniques, which is another theme we've seen with Cell in the Cell saga. So it's just, that bothered me a little bit. So then we see the sacrifice of Merus, right? Later, a couple chapters later, we find out that Moro was able to copy Merus' abilities, which we'll get to in just a moment. And then we get Ultra Instinct Goku, right? Goku masters UI, and he absolutely bodies Moro. This is where I really start turning on Moro. Moro asks Goku to spare him, right? And then this leads into Goku giving Moro Senzu Bean, which I've done enough videos talking about that one subject. But the fact that you had Moro, right, someone who was so badass earlier in the arc, but now is sitting there acting like a legit pussy, asking Goku to spare him after everything he's done, after all the people that he's killed by absorbing energy, right? But now that he's on death row, now he asks asks to be spared. I absolutely hate that. When are we gonna get a villain that accepts, like, okay, I lost, this is the way it ends for me, right? Why do you have to act like a coward in the end? You were all hard when you were super strong, but then once you get defeated, right, you want to act like a coward. Like, I hate that. It makes you look fake. So I didn't like, how Moro turned out to be more of a pussy in the end. And then we see, after Goku gives him the Senzu Bean, we see he puts on the hand that had Merus' abilities copied, and then we get, Moro, basically Moro'd with Master Ultra Instinct. Even though Goku's still stronger because Moro never trained to have Merus' abilities, so Goku's still able to body this guy. But like I said, in these final chapters, we see Moro just become more of a normal martial artist. He's not using his magic powers anymore. He's relying on stone techniques. He's relying on stone power. He's not even using the abilities that made him so unique at the beginning of this arc, which made the beginning of this arc so good. So I'm just like, ugh. And then, finally we get to see Moro. He fuses with planet Earth because he believes that's his last hope, because he refuses to let go of the power of Merus. Like I said, this was Moro's downfall, believing that he could rely on stolen energy, energy that he took, without training for it. Goku and Vegeta, the reason why they don't have trouble handling their forms is because they trained for their techniques. They trained for their power. Moro didn't, and it became his undoing at the end. We see as he fuses with planet Earth and he continues to swell, right? as because he's so addicted with consuming planets. You know, he doesn't realize that this is about to be his undoing. He doesn't realize that when he blows up, the universe is going along with him. He's not going to survive. But his conscience is so far gone. And even though I love the way they do the final battle, you know, Moro fusing with the planet, because, you know, at the beginning, when we first meet Moro, you know, we meet him as, you know, a planet eater, the consumer of worlds, and that's exactly what he's trying to do to Earth here at the end. So I did really enjoy that. But at the end of the day, man, you know, there were so many similarities to the Cell Saga, and I love the ending. I love what, you know, what happens with Vegeta, you know, Goku going full Titan mode and defeating Moro. But, you know, this video is about evaluating Moro as a character. And, you know, we see Moro, he blows up at the end, and he's most likely dead. But my thing is, you know, Moro was so good at the beginning of this arc. But, you know, as we get to the later portions, not even the middle, but the later portions of this arc, where we see Moro just get away from the things that made him unique and made him a great villain at the beginning, right? His IQ, you know, his magic power, his appearance, those three things alone made him great. But he gets away from those as we get to the later stages of the arc, when he fuses with 7-3, you know, when he relies more on power than magical abilities, you know. When he gets away from those, it makes him less unique, and I see so many people comparing him to Cell and Frieza, and it hurts. It does hurt. And, you know, also with Moro just acting like a pussy at the end and not accepting fate, it's just like, wow, you know, you were acting all hard before, and this is the way you're gonna act when you go out, you know, begging to have your life spared, when you were killing so many innocent people before. It's just like, that hurts. That hurts the way I look at this. You know, there were a lot of great moments for Moro in this arc. This arc was great in general, but in terms of Moro's legacy, you know, I really thought they had a chance to make Moro one of the best villains we've ever seen in Dragon Ball. And the way the arc began, they were going down the right track. But I just feel like, you know, near the end of this arc, especially after Moro fuses with 7-3 and everything that happens with Moro after that, you know, getting away from what made him unique in the first place, it's gonna hurt his legacy as a villain. Right? I'm not saying the arc, you know, is bad. I already said this was a fantastic arc. I'm just talking about Moro in terms of his legacy as an iconic Dragon Ball villain. You know, and he will be an iconic Dragon Ball villain, especially for Dragon Ball Super, mainly because there hasn't been many villains in Dragon Ball Super. But when comparing him, you know, to Frieza, to Cell, to Majin Buu, right? You know, I don't think he's going to be on the level of those characters. It's mainly because of the final chapters of the arc. He was a great villain, right? But I don't think he's going to be in the discussion as the most iconic Dragon Ball villain of all time, like the way we talk about Frieza or Cell or etc. Right? But that's my thoughts. At the end of the day, Moro was a good villain. Right, he was a good villain, but taking away all the things that made him great in the first place really hurt his legacy, in my opinion. You know, but let me know in the comment section what you guys thought. You know, where does Moro rank for you guys in terms of your Dragon Ball villains? You know, greatest Dragon Ball villains of all time. Let me know. Was he one of the best? Was he middle tier? Was he absolutely dreadful? Let me know. All right. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new. Hit the bell next to my name, FitzOneTV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Like I said, guys, there's going to be tons of discussion videos. You know, depending when you guys are watching this, next week, I do plan on having 2 character evaluations up. One for Goku and one for Vegeta. And probably the week after that, we'll have the one for Merus. So let me know what you guys thought in the comment section down below. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for everything. I'll see y'all later. Peace.